we're here actually not at the worst spot of Cyprus, right?
Can't really complain about this, no.
It's like a little wrap up. Mm-hmm. And George, our patient experience director, who's a great guy, he sent me some questions for you because, we never thought we were going to do marketing for a medical service. But then an Australian patient changed my mind. She's a social media expert, and she said, if you don't market it, people are not going to find you. And the later they find you, the worse is the outcome, right? So this is why this is important. And thanks God he's so good at his job and so many people are helping us. So the first question was, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Mia from Norway and currently living in Dublin in Ireland. And I first got COVID back in January of 2022. And it's been a bit of a roller coaster since then. Gradually getting better and progressively getting healthy enough to prioritize my energy for work. So I was able to work full time. But I kept getting sick and I kept getting crashes. And so I was always searching for new ways to improve my health. Also because I was unable to exercise outside of this. And that was something that I really enjoyed doing prior to getting infected. So that was my big sacrifice, giving up my hobbies essentially and being able to do all these high intensity workouts and things that I was doing before. So I've always been looking for ways to get that element back into my life.
But it was actually even worse than that, because just before you came to us, you had a huge relapse / crash.
Exactly.
And then you were having all of these really bad symptoms. What were the symptoms?
Yeah, so that's exactly what happened. So I thought my journey was a little bit like this and slowly I was getting better. So as long as I was just patient with time, I would get back to where I was, right? But, passing the time frame of more than 2.5 years and still going through this. And then I got infected with something else. I actually think I got COVID again. I got like a terrible cold. I didn't actually test because I didn't even suspect that it could be COVID, but in retrospect, I definitely think that that's probably what it was. And suddenly I got all these symptoms as if I was infected, several years ago, a couple of years ago. I was extremely fatigued to the point where it was hard to get up in the morning, certainly not having enough energy to do my job fully. I remember, getting ready in the morning and having meetings and everything, and my energy was just collapsing. And especially with the post-exertional malaise as well, I remember cycling to work and I was absolutely ruined after. And I felt in my body that it was a little bit different than the other.
And you were doing extreme sports. You were a very active person.
Yeah, before
hyperactive, ADHD profile, classic ADHD, like most people that are very busy.
Yeah.
And then from hero to zero.
Oh, yeah. It was a big night and day situation for me. And I thought it was just recovering from COVID, that it was going to take a little bit of time to recover my lungs and my energy levels. And I kept going back to the gym, and I kept doing classes and boxing and things. And I just noticed my body wasn't able as it was before. And I just never recovered, and it got worse and it got worse and it got worse.
I remember when you entered the clinic, though, you could barely walk.
I was very tired. That's also why I was a bit nervous about making the trip down here, because it was to the point where I was worried if I would have enough energy to make my way here.
And how did it work out in the end?
So I'm obviously very grateful for making that investment, time-wise, energy-wise, financially speaking also, of course. Because with time, it has led me to where I am in this moment, where I feel like I've regained my energy to a certain level. I still have a bit to go, but I'm a lot better than I was when I first crashed. And that's, that was in July.
You've been driving on your own now. You drive a car again.
And I used to be too tired to even watch Netflix. Would be too.
You couldn't even read, you said.
No, reading was hard. Yeah, just speaking to friends even, and I miss my friends.
I remember you were limited to 10-15 minutes conversations when you arrived.
Yeah,
That
I
was
had to
that.
pace. I had to pace.
We
yeah.
have been now around here. We just had lunch together, and we've been talking for over 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and I haven't
You feel
like
tired?
No, I didn't feel like passing out even once.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's
If you would need
incredible.
to give like a percentage of body battery or ability,
Yeah.
what did you arrive with, and what 6 weeks later now are you at roughly?
So I arrived at 25%. I think it was the worst I felt in a very, very long time. It was enough to get up in the morning and take a shower, have breakfast, that kind of stuff, and then that was kind of it. So not enough, obviously, to sustain a normal life with going to work and being social and doing activities. So that was my motivation to do something about it, because our
But
health.
not only did you do something about it, you did the full Monty,
Oh, yeah.
the whole 9 yards, the full mile, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
You did it all.
I went all in.
Multi-modality, combination therapy. You have done HELP apheresis, hypothermia, molecular nutraceutical therapy, blood thinners, antivirals. You have done ketamine RTMS therapy. That's amazing. That's a lot.
It is a lot. And not gonna lie, like doing all of those treatments is exhausting in itself, right?
Yeah.
But I think knowing I have nothing to lose, and I have such strong visions for what I want to get back to in terms of my life and life quality. I have absolutely nothing to lose, right? So for me, it was an investment that just made perfect sense for me.
And we even forgot 2 things. You are doing clinical nutrition supervision with Criso.
Yeah.
And you're doing the health coaching with Tanya.
Yeah.
So you really followed the advice of the medical team and didn't say no to a single thing.
No.
Which is not only a financial investment, but it's also a lot of commitment.
It is. But at the end of the day, yourself and the medical team know a lot more about this than what I do. And you work with a lot of different patients who've seen successful results, right? So I just made a decision to trust the data and trust fully, essentially, because you guys know better than I do.
This is what many people don't understand. Now, you are a person that understands data-driven science.
Yeah.
All of the things we do at the clinic is data-driven, is science-backed, and good science reverses things that are not right.
Yeah.
We've started with HELP apheresis only and see what happens. And we now have the largest portfolio worldwide. And that within 3 years. But I'm not saying it was flawless. We had things that we no longer do. We have things that we know now need to be pronounced, they need to be emphasized. Classic, HELP apheresis, hypothermia, nutraceutical, core therapy. In your case, we didn't even have to go to the IVIG, IgM enhanced therapy for now. So that's a last resort treatment. So we've learned so much. I'm just going to pause a little because the plane's probably going to be on audio. But it reminds us, seeing the plane just flying back. It's not even in the picture yet. I think it was somewhere, but yeah. Which reminds me of one of the most important things. You came as a patient, and now you feel like somebody on holiday.
Yeah.
What's that for a feeling?
I can't even begin to describe to you. And it's a new sensation to feel this good again. Because I've been there for 6-7 weeks, and it's been, a bumpy ride as well.
Absolutely. It's not all wine and roses.
No, and it's not a linear progression either. And I think I was hoping for, maybe one day I'm just going to wake up and overnight I just recovered. It was not like that, admittedly. And I did have a crash also throughout my stay here, which brought some extra stress. But just trusting the team and the process. Luckily, I also recovered from that setback. And admittedly, I think it was from me overdoing it because I got excited because I started feeling better.
It's a trap we all fall into.
Yeah.
Me, my mom, my auntie, you.
Exactly.
So wrapping it up, what would you recommend to a person that now is in your shoes that you were 6 weeks ago? Like, what would you recommend them to do?
I think recognizing that your health is by far the most valuable thing that you have in your life, and trusting data, trusting the success stories of other patients with similar symptoms, and taking a small leap of faith also in making the trip here, making the commitment. It's a financial investment as well, but I went through that thought process myself, and there is no better investment than your own health. So,
Is there also any regrets you have in the last 6 weeks?
no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets. I feel like this was the right thing for me to do for myself at this stage in my life. I have so many things I want to do. My health has been holding me back. I've been trying, all the conventional routes in recovering from long COVID, maybe the more prominent one just being time and waiting it out. And that still left me unfulfilled. So I think putting your own health first so that you can be the best person you can be for yourself, but also for people around you, right? So, yeah.
Amazing, Mia. I cannot tell you how happy I am for you. Because don't forget, just 4 years ago, I was in your shoes. I still remember. But being honest, now hearing your story and then sometimes telling my story, it's such a distant memory, 4 years. I hope in 3-4 years, when you're going to come back and make a vacation in Cyprus, we're able to discuss how it now or then feels for you as a distant memory only.
For sure. And I know that I will get back to my 100%.
Amazing, Mia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.